This conference will now be recorded.
Roswell Infrastructure Committee meeting call to order Monday, February 28th, 2022. Could I get a roll call, please?
Counselor Roebuck,
Here.
Counselor Kennard,
Present.
Counselor Lopez,
Present.
Counselor Sanchez.
All right, we're all here. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda and minutes?
I move to approve the agenda in the minutes of the January 24th, 2022 Infrastructure Committee meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Item number 2, project updates.
Okay, project updates. I'm gonna focus today on what we call the annual maintenance, where it's money that's given and we use the annual maintenance contractor. Y'all see that as the library. We use some of the sidewalk improvement money that was on the budget to improve the sidewalk entrance there on the west side and the north side of the library. So I just wanted to show you, remember all the trip hazards and everything else, so we've improved that. So that was done with our annual maintenance contract utilizing sidewalk funding. Next picture. And this is just, I put this one in so we could laugh. Okay, so we started fixing the Hondo River repair where it's right there behind Fast Burritos on the east side splash pad on East 2nd. Remember during the flood that caved in? So we're in there fixing it. It's supposed to be dry. And then Lynch over there broke a water line on purpose. And
My fault.
here we go. Last week, we're trying to fix it and the Hondo River's flowing again, but with chlorinated water. So I just put it in there. Again, with the work that we're doing with the annual maintenance contract, but it's just to laugh with. And we get in the river, every time we get in the river, we're just draw water. What can I say?
In a river.
Maybe we need to keep,
Uh-huh.
right, somebody be standing there all the time.
It's just, the drains work, it all drains to the river.
Oh, yeah.
So any questions on your airport, your project update list that you have? Okay, airport infrastructure, nobody here from airport. I threw in a slide, a sense that the big thing that we've been talking about lately. If you can't picture it when you're reviewing on everything else, just to remind you, this big line one over here, that's Dean Baldwin. So you just to the southeast of Dean Baldwin. This top one, that top turquoise line, that's the little access road going into the parking lot for Dean Baldwin. Dean Baldwin Park's on the north side, and then the descent will be all over here on the south side. There's their parking lot, detention pond, that big area right there is where the hangar's gonna go. But again, I know ascent right now is a hot topic, so just want to kind of show you that. This is Earl Cummins. The airport terminal is over here. But that's Dean Baldwin, the big white shadow that you see.
Where's the fence line?
The existing fence?
Yes.
Existing fence is right here.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. So we're moving the fence out.
Right.
We're moving the fence out. Those tanks that are out there, those little tanks, is right there. Some of the smaller hangars that are out there.
And where Dean Baldwin's doors at?
This is their building, and then their parking lot is just north of the.
Where's the doors for the doors for the airplanes though? Where they're hanging?
They face,
They face over here, right?
well, they face southeast.
Southeast and then over on this
Yeah,
side.
they actually have some on the backside too, but they have like 4 bays
I know that's phase 2, but is the plane gonna fit through there?
up there. They face this way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right. I assume they're gonna.
They got enough room to pull.
They got enough room, yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm sure they do.
And then what, yeah, and then the, what you have right now with the removals of the concrete and all that stuff is the big square right here.
Right. Okay. And that's all gone right now.
Well, they're working on it.
Oh,
Not yet. It's almost.
That was the PO or CESU approved for 600
yeah.
change. But I just threw that out there because Again, a lot of people ask me about Ascent and what's going on, so I said, here, just refresh your memory.
Any questions, counselors?
We're gonna talk about this anyway. I mean, one of the,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming up. The water line rerouting. All right, great. Let's go ahead and move to item number 4 then.
Okay, item 4, again, we've been working on the wastewater plant dewatering facility. You have right there is a screw pump, not here, but just to give you an idea of what it is, it's a building with enclosure with the screw pumps. And then it feeds out to the beds, which are already squeezes out the water, so it dries out a whole lot faster. Okay, so we've been working this in a couple of years. We finally bid it out. Let me back up. We had a loan for $5.5 million, which was what we thought was enough back when we got the loan. What I did provide you is some costs, some engineering estimates as it went, page 15, June 24th, 2021. And then page 17, October 2021. And then, yeah, you can see it was slowly escalating. Page 14, 15, and 17. Well, we proceeded with design because the market goes up, the market goes down. So we just went with it. The bids came up really high. The one thing I will, if you look on page 11, we had 2 bidders. They're both in the $8 million neighborhood. That tells me the market price is okay. HDR, who's on the phone as well, they've been checking with their people. These kind of projects are going up higher because of the market. And we did check with New Mexico ED. And they said this is what they're seeing statewide too, is these kind of projects are coming in super high. I will say that from experience, and HDR agrees with me, if we were to rebid it, we'd probably see it at a higher amount. I mean, look what we did with the rebid just on our trails. We rebid them twice before, the price goes up. We rebid some manhole projects, the price goes up. So it's just, what we're talking right now is just to give you an explanation of what's happening with the prices. We are gonna go to New Mexico ED and DFA and ask for another, I think, $3.9 million. In my calculations, I recommended 4.0, but I believe DFA has come back and said 3.9 is what we're allowed.
Sure.
So we're gonna go back with the 3.9, an extension of the loan at 0.5 interest. And so right on this item right here, before we go to the next item to award the project, just to let you know that the financing is being put in place. So we can award the project. Everything looks good. And we'll stand for any questions you have myself. We also have Wade Chacon from HDR out of Albuquerque, the ones that did the design. But if you have any question on the financing or the bid process, we stand for any questions. This is not an item, this is just a discussion item.
Right, yeah, I see that. Oh, it's the next one. That's the action.
Yes.
So,
Jim.
yes, go ahead, Mayor.
isn't this part of this loan, part of the forgiveness? Don't they have a forgiveness component on this one, or am I confusing this with a different?
400,000,
Okay,
Not as much.
400,000,
but we cannot get it unless we get the loan.
correct.
So we got to do the loan.
And we'll have a 400,000 because they didn't give us a big forgiveness like they normally do on this one because whatever reason they chose not to.
But there's
Mayor, we do get 4,000.
400,000, yeah.
Yeah, 400,000 forgiveness. But at 0.5 interest, and you see what's happening on a daily basis now, the worry about the inflation. From an engineering, a city engineer, I recommend we do it.
Mhm.
The other part of this project that's not part of the loan that we can't ask for money on is dissolved oxygen. And wastewater got a mandate to have it in place by January 2023.
Yes, correct.
And so we did,
EPA?
From the EPA.
so what we did on this project, that's the priority part. That's phase one. You go in there and put the dissolved oxygen pieces in there, which should not be a delay because it's basically pumps. And then the rest would be part two. So we have this is dissolved oxygen to meet a mandate, an unfunded mandate, and then the other one part of it is the dewatering that we need to improve the efficiency of our plant.
Yeah, and we've talked about this several times, obviously, over the last couple of years. I've been working on this project in council. It's unfortunate the price has gone up, of course. So we'll have to have a full discussion at the council, but I mean, there's no reason why at this point we should keep moving forward with it.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's go and just jump into item number 5 then.
Okay, on item number 5, and this is an action item.
I apologize, unless there's any, I mean, we're the same topic, so council can ask your questions on the next item as well.
Mr. Chairman, item number 5, we're asking consideration of award for ITB-220012, the wastewater treatment plant to Smithco Construction, the amount of $8,626,664, which does include GRT. I stand for any questions. Can we have HDR on the line as well?
Questions, councilors? Yeah, I think, this is, like, there's some mandated, obviously, things that we're taking care of here. We've been working on this a long time. We'll probably have to have the discussion one more time out at full council to get it all explained again, but let's go ahead and get it up to council and then we're handing then about the extra money involved. So.
And then again, all these items you are eligible for consent. It's up to committee what you want to do with it.
This one,
Council?
I think this needs to go to full council because it's a large increase, but it's going to have to be discussed. So I would entertain a motion for this item number 5 to award, the motion should be to award.
Okay. All right. I move to recommend approval of award of ITB-22-012 CWSRF 097 wastewater treatment plant dewatering facility to Smithco Construction Incorporated in the amount of $8,626,664 to the full council on March 2022.
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 6.
Okay, well, item number 6 is to consider the award of the Edgewood Phase 2 to J&A Services, ITB-22-007, Water Trust Board Project 5434-WPF to J&A Services in the amount of $693,220.39, which includes GRT. We had 4 bidders. J&A Service, it's understandable why they were the low bidder. They're building the water lines as part of Atkinson, and they're just ready to turn around the corner and keep on building. This is funded in part by Water Trust Board loan and grant. The grant is $450,000. The loan is $300,000 or up to $300,000. One thing I will say, 2 years ago, my estimate was $1 million. So there's a little competition right here again. You can tell that J&H wanted this project. And we stand for any questions.
Councilors, questions?
No.
This is in the budget, correct?
It is in the budget.
Okay, great. Then there's no questions. I would entertain a motion to the consent agenda.
Okay. I move to Recommend approval of award ITB-22-007 Water Trust Board Project number 5434-WPF to J&H Services Incorporated in the amount of $693,220.39 to the March 2022 City Council consent agenda.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. So this is different than,
Yes, so as you remember on my abstract, when we put out this thing, we hadn't received all the quotes back.
Okay.
What I'm handing out, Margaret, is the bid tabulations. And I'll read it out. Yeah, into the picture. So we did this project, again, this is for the, oh, no, this is the, my bad, this is for the next item.
oh,
This is for the next item.
I'm still sending a picture.
Okay, this is actually for item 13. So we have before you is the water line project. This is the one that's funded in part. We pay up front, and then the county agreement that we have will get reimbursed. We had a $2 million budget. Let me explain the project. We're starting at the tower over here on Gillis, coming around the back of curve on Earl Cummins, coming down south to Will Rogers Road. And when we get to building 91, from there to the end of the project, the majority of the project is dirt. So even though it's a 2-mile project, the majority of it is dirt. White Cloud Pipeline is the low bidder at $1,508,000. And J&H was there at $1,800,000. I'm very comfortable with White Cloud. They're building Mountain View Middle School. They're doing the repairs at 3rd and Orchard. They did the repairs at Mescalero in Kentucky. They've done a lot of work for us. Again, they're a small company. They pick what they want to bid, but when they want something, they're very competitive because it's basically a family crew, and that's how they keep their own. Stand for any questions.
Questions? Counselor?
Looking at their breakdown, they bid for the 11,500 feet, they bid it at $42 a foot for the 14-inch line. You just got through in an email to me telling me that 14-inch PVC went from $46 a square or a linear foot to $76 a square linear foot, correct?
Correct, when we're trying to buy pipe, correct.
So they're bidding it at $34 less than what they can buy it for.
The market changes every week.
I understand that, but I'm just.
Yeah, but they've already ordered the materials. I know what you're saying, but look at the,
Further down, they get it 105 foot at $25 a foot. I'm just saying, if we hold them to this, there's not gonna be a change order where we turn around and say, oh yeah, price went up, so we're gonna pay you more. I mean, they came in at $250,000 lower than your estimate.
correct.
I just, and you said they're a small company.
They're a small company. Again, what they're gonna make the money on is on the trenching, on ditching. It's a small crew. And once you get into the dirt area, you build a pipe, you put it in there, you put the tape, you put your wire, and you backfill. There's no road repair, there's no curb and gutter repair. And it just keeps the family here for the project.
I understand. It makes me uncomfortable to the fact that I don't want to.
There will be no change order for the cost of pipe. As we look into the next item number 13, that 14-inch pipe is $72. What the contractors are doing, they're putting their money in other items. But I'm very comfortable with this bid.
That's my only question.
There will,
I want to hear back from them saying, oops, by the way, the price gone up, we need to change it.
no,
Because the bid pretty much locks it.
I hear you. Duly noted, Counselor.
Okay, other questions? Counselor Foster, are you comfortable with this going to consent?
I'm comfortable going with consent. Great.
I mean, if you want to discuss it, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah. It's all right if you're-
Yeah, okay.
My whole thing about it is I just want to make.
No, I think it's a good point.
It comes back to us that they want to do a change order.
Jesus.
That we've already talked about it.
Okay, if you're happy, that's fine. I'm happy to then. And any other objections going to consent? Okay, if not, I entertain a motion to send this to the consent agenda.
Okay, I move to recommend approval of award of ITB-22-015 Roswell Air Center Waterline Expansion to White Cloud Pipeline Corporation, Roswell, New Mexico, in the amount of 1 million. Okay, I need to use that number that you sent me.
No, that's the next item.
That's item 13. that we-
Okay. Okay, so this is right. The $1,508,048.70 to March 2022. Is this going to full or consent?
Consent, please.
To consent.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Item number 8.
Okay, item 8 before you is consider the scope of work for RFP-22-011 Professional Services Transit Building. I will say that this has federal money. This is for transit. Becky Hicks is here. So with federal money, we cannot use the on-call. You cannot use the CES. You have to use the long process.
Of course.
Okay. If you have $1 federal money. So Becky came and asked that she needs help to get a scope of work going. As you look in your packet on page 34 and 35, we'll be taking out the driver's kitchen area. So since they've given me this laundry list, that's been taken care of. And then on the remove of the catwalk, fire department wanted it out immediately and it's been removed already. So we'll be taking those two off the scope of work. That's on page 34, 35. Again, what you're doing is the scope of work. This can go to consent. And once council approves the scope of work, the RFP will go through the full process. And then of course, we'll be back when it's awarded. It's awarded, evaluated, and recommended for award. And this is just for engineering services only.
Sure. And again, go over with the things that we were trying to get changed with the building, the improvements you want made.
Well, some of this has already been approved for projects, and I had tried to go through a CES contract. They kept it for 6 months, trying to vet it, trying to make it go through for FTA purposes, but it did not make it. So when I started talking to them about it, they said, well, why don't we take that money, move it into the design so that we can help you pay for the design work, and then we'll just get all of it done at the same time. It may have to be phased because I don't think I can get all of the money from them in one fell swoop, but we need some ADA compliance in the lobby. We need ADA compliance in the downstairs bathrooms. We need ADA compliance in the upstairs bathrooms. We have other projects that are going on that are just building maintenance. But she just wanted me to go around and look at all of the things that we needed to do. We may need to do something about the foundation of the building. On the north wall, there's cracking and it goes from the bottom all the way up to the top. And so that's why they wanted they needed a seismic engineer, a structural engineer. And they also want to try to preserve some of the historical value of this building because it does look like all the other Greyhound buildings in the world. They used that same blue tile on the bottom and the same glass bricks and in the building.
Page 33. And again, when she says they, that's New Mexico DOT.
Yes. We still are under 50,000. So even though our money is from the federal government, it all runs through to DOT, New Mexico.
So this is just scope of work, and it does call out for, the laundry list is on page 34 and 35. And again, the outside of the building does for the settlement. And we might do what we did in the Boys and Girls Club. We put the helical piers. We drill and then we inject the concrete to push it back up. But again, this is just for the engineering, a set of plans and an estimate. So then she would be ready to go with whatever she can afford
Right,
to bid out.
right. Questions, counselors? Okay, if there's no questions, I would entertain a motion. And this is within your budget?
The design work will have to be part of next time's budget, probably. She'll have to tell me whether that she's gonna increase my budget to cover this. But we have about, so the soffit, the downstairs bathrooms, all of those things already had money associated with them.
Sure.
So some of that money,
All right.
yes, is already in.
Do you have an allocation to pay for the engineering?
Not.
Is that that's from a federal grant?
Yeah, how are you gonna fund this
So
RFP?
when the
She's going
RFP,
to take that grant money, combine it all together and to pay for this
It will be DOT money.
okay.
at
Is that your
80/20.
question?
And 80/20.
Yeah, mostly if it's something that's not allocated to money, I do want it to go to, it was not previously budgeted, I wanted to go to full council, not just consent.
Do you have this on your budget already?
I have a lot of these projects already on my budget.
Okay, let's go ahead and send it to full council to get any questions. So I entertain a motion to the full council,
Okay.
not to consent.
So I move to approve scope of work for RFP-22-001 professional services transit building to full council on the March 2022 city council meeting.
Second. A motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Yeah, and when it comes to full council, we probably should be better just to talk through
Sure.
all those little pieces, so we get an idea of stuff that's been previously approved and kind of where we are with that. That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, I think we're on number 9.
Correct. Okay, number 9, the DOT, as you can see, they issued a call for projects. And another projects that we've been lucky, we get 95% money. So I'm putting in for 6 projects this year. One's already completed the plans for Atkinson and North Washington. And so we're in Hobb Street. All the mill and fills were done. The rest of them are just procurement. So number 1 would be North Atkinson Phase 2 from Cherry to College. And we are including the utility money with the estimate. So we're going to ask the DOT to help us with the utilities as well. And and then Second Street, Nova Chip. And if you've driven Second Street where they left off on Sunset, we want to Nova Chip Second Street from Sunset east to the city limit. And then North Washington, that would be a mill and fill like we did on South Washington on Country Club de Barindo. Hobb Street, mill and fill from Sunset to Southeast Main. And then West College, we would be a Nova Chip. That's the 4-lane area from the relief route to Montana. And then Atkinson, another Nova Chip from Brasher, the jail, all the way to McGaffey. Now, it's 6 projects, that's $8 million worth of work, but all they can tell us is no.
Last time we put in 4 and we got 3, correct?
Correct. So,
If we keep that average, we're doing good.
we're doing that. But even if we get a couple,
We'll take them.
we'll take them for 95%, 95 cents out of the dollar they'll put in or reimburse us. It's worth it. And again, I'm going with the bigger streets because they usually cost the most and we'll use their money for that.
Okay. Okay, any questions? Okay, does anybody, you want this to talk about this at council or you just want to go to consent?
Go to consent.
Consent, I'll take a motion to send this to consent then.
No,
Okay,
resolution, no,
I
excuse me,
move to,
Forget. Resolution's got to go to council.
No, not to consent. Go ahead.
Sorry, councilors.
Okay.
Go ahead, Margaret, but not the consent.
And when we go to council, the slides will have the little pictures to go with it, little maps.
okay. Sorry, I don't know why my speak button or whatever gets stuck sometime. So I move to recommend approval of resolution 22-XX for support of projects in response to the New Mexico DOT's January 2022 TPF funding call for projects to full council on March 2022 council meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Okay, we are now to item number 10, requisition for striping.
But yeah, before you councilors is consider purchase requisition to highway supply in the amount of $80,787.76 to restripe Main Street from Gaffey to College. Procurement will utilize a statewide price agreement. If you remember last month, you approved the Nova Chip PO for $900,000. Now this is for the striping. Again, this is all funded, like with the previous item, a Nova Chip item from the DOT. So it's the same thing here. Everything we would do on this is 95% reimbursable. And I stand for any questions. This can be a consent item as well.
Any questions? If there's no questions, I will entertain a motion to the consent agenda.
Okay, this is exciting. Thank you, Louis, for your work on it. I move to recommend approval of purchase requisition to highway supply in the amount of $80,787.76 to the March 2022 City Council meeting.
Second.
Consent, sorry.
Second.
That is a motion to consent and a second to consent. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Okay. That, to me, that particular intersection, I know we're looking the other way, but what splits off into the two mains, I'm amazed at how well that intersection flows. That is a maybe I'm never there at the wrong times, but that's a masterpiece of civil engineering in my
Oh, the
mind.
five-legged intersection?
Well, yeah, and it never feels like unnecessarily long or like it's hung up there, so.
I mean, it's long if all you've driven is in Roswell,
Sure.
but if you've driven in a big city, it's a short life.
I've spent plenty of time driving it. So. All right, we're on now on to item 11, additional streets for paving rehabilitation. And I'll start this one out, kind of preface where this came from. So, so I can't remember how many months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, the council agreed to a settlement with the state for some underpaid tax revenue in the amount of $1.7-ish million. That revenue would have been realized over the past 10 years. Nobody knows for sure because we don't really have the details because the state of New Mexico keeps. So the idea at this point is if we would have had those money over those years, we probably would have put them into roads. So let's take that 1.7 million and give our roads a boost. I talked to our engineer last month and asked him where we were with our projects. Could he take on the workload? He felt good about adding the projects. He said we can get it done. So I said, great, let's throw some more money at the roads and see if we can get some more stuff done. You know, it's been a banner year already for the roads, but hey, let's make it one for the record books. So that's sort of where this is coming from. And so I asked him to go ahead and bring a recommendation of how to spend that 1.7 million. And is that about it?
1.784. $1,784,675.
Okay, so tell us about this.
Just get a one page.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so, and there's what the other page went. Okay. As Counselor Roebuck already did the intro, I was asked to come up with another list. What we're doing here, this is a mill and fill for residential. Y'all live in neighborhoods, the C neighborhoods. We've already done overlays, and the overlays are already above the curve. What we did, we went, again, using the 5-year pavement condition program that we've been using. The streets department went back to the program. If you'll see the notations on the right, these are the streets that need work, not just a little maintenance overlay. They need to be milled down to the curb, below the curb, and then filled again. So what we're doing here is we just went to the program. Just go down the list and make your list Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, 4, 5, until we get to the $170 million. And that's what we did. So it's off the list, starting from the top, working its way down, going down and spreading it for all the 5 wards. But this would be mill and fill of residential streets.
But I don't really care, but your ward's changed a little bit.
Well, this is the new wards.
Oh, this is new ward.
This is the new
Look at
ward.
this on top of it.
This is the new wards. Thank you for reminding me about that. This is, because we just did this last month. The ward map was already changed.
Yeah, all right.
This is the new wards.
I'm excited, to be putting some money into roads. Certainly, we've been falling behind, and this year we've made a concerted effort. The council as well as staff has been working their tails off to get these road projects done. I think we're at 13 point something of our own money, plus whatever you've been able to squeeze out of the state, which is a considerable amount this year as well. So, and it will help. And we're still playing catch up, but definitely this is a big boost in the right direction. So I'm excited to put this forward.
We're in the neighborhood right here.
Questions, comments?
Now this will have to go to the full council because there is no budget. This is a new item we're discussing.
Yep.
Are you ready for a motion?
Yeah, we'll take a motion.
Okay. I move to recommend approval of funding of additional street work throughout Roswell in the amount of $1,784,675 to the full council on March 2022 city council meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we are now on to GIS recommendation, item number 12. Margaret, I think I just sent you an updated abstract on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, councilors, what you have before you is the recommendation. Consider award of RFQ for GIS development services to Souter Miller in the amount of $99,931.83. RFQ was issued to 3 vendors selected from the pool of on-call professional services. And again, this is a revised abstract. My apologies for the first one. Must have been 9 o'clock and I was hungry and tired. So again, the primary objective is we want to get our GIS unit going. We have hired 1 employee. Glenda Allen is our GIS specialist. And again, this is just the first step in building the GIS platform. Our first customer who's going to be funding the first phase is utility department, because the first emphasis will be for the water and sewer maps to be available on GIS and identifying all the points for the valves, everything that they have, fire hydrants, so anybody in the middle of the night, they could be able to find it quicker. And help them. And also part of this, that we want to develop this so we can share these kind of maps online to our customers when you go to the website as well. But you have to build the platform. So Glenda has her degrees in GIS and she has experience in it. And that's why we hired her back to be the GIS specialist. We went to the pool of the engineering firms. We picked 3. We had 2 interviews, face-to-face interviews with them and discussed everything. We asked for quotes. 2 quotes came back. One company said they weren't interested at this phase. And that's where we're at now. Our Souder Miller was 99,000. HDR was 166,000 and change. And both Glenda and I are comfortable that Glenda, because she'll be the leader on this one as project manager, Glenda and SMA can do the first steps of our GIS. Now the GIS, as you can see, that's just a little, we have to have this right now. So we're gonna see what we need. We'll probably be coming back to you later because we're gonna need our own separate server and all the hardware that goes with it. Because eventually in the next phase, next year, we would be bringing it back so we can tie it into Tyler, for all the departments to tie it into Tyler. Solid waste, code enforcement, building permits, everything, again, to streamline what we can give to the customer service and tie it into Tyler as well. So we're trying to act like a big city. And if you're gonna do that, you gotta start building like a big city. And that's what we're trying to do.
And just for anybody's benefit who might be listening or just for the recording, can somebody just talk to briefly what GIS stands for and what it does?
So I'd like to, okay, so GIS, Geographical Information System. So basically it's a digital mapping it's a digital mapping system. So, you know, what we have right now are maps that we've got AutoCAD maps and we have kind of paper maps. So what we're doing is with this whole system, and for many years we have had GIS. We've actually had the software in our department, engineering department, but it's never gotten to the point where other departments can use it. We've got a lot of information, a lot of shape files. So kind of what we're doing is with this RFQ that went out is we're having a consultant come in to help us set up the initial structure and system, because we've got lots of data, but we need to have the software to continue to do what we want to do in order for it to go out to utilities, for the utility folks to be able to use it, for anybody. We want to put out web maps for the public to come in. So basically it's information that you can find on a map. And so everything, it's kind of like a Google map. I mean, all utilities, all cities, everybody is kind of going to a GIS base. The police departments have been doing it for years, emergency services. So that's another component that we're hoping to kind of be working with our emergency services, with the county. You know, it's just kind of getting bigger and bigger all the time. So it was like about time that we kind of had it set up in the city and not just have one department making maps here, another department making maps there. So this idea is to have like everything in one place, but accessible to all departments, transit for maps, parks. So that's kind of what this is about.
Yeah, and I think it's really a great investment. Yeah, go ahead, Councilor.
Sir, so we had a presentation a while back from Solid Waste, and they have a system in place, right?
They have a system in place tracking where their trucks are going live, and then they have they went in over there and inventoried all their receptacles.
So they have a system in place. Is that not something that we could add on to use for the city?
No, because that's the standalone. What we want to do is incorporate their stuff into some of the stuff that we're using. So where they've already mapped some of the streets, we'll use some of that mapping to tie in with the utilities.
I thought after talking with what's the gentleman running the place?
Abraham,
that system could be utilized in all the departments from water to mapping the hydrants to streets to all that.
Okay, so, Mr. Lopez, Councilor Lopez, so what they are doing is they are being hosted by Sauter Miller. So actually Sauter Miller is working with them. Sauter Miller's kind of already developed the maps, this kind of the base city maps for them. And so all their trucks have the data, they've got live data, everything's coming in, but Sauter Miller is hosting it for them. So Sauter Miller is like the information keeper. And so like solid waste, the folks at solid waste, they have access and they can, they have access to it and they can go in and change stuff, but it's not being, all the data isn't being housed in-house because we don't have the servers and the ability right now to be able to be keeping all the data in-house, but that's the idea. And Abraham's very excited to be able to have everything that Sauter Miller has built up for them to actually come into inside a city's system so that everybody can, I mean, so that's kind of the difference with Abraham's right now. Sauter Miller's hosting their data.
And Abraham is online.
And that's the same system that you're kind of presented to us before.
Yes, she's, Glenda's essentially leading the way for us. She's gonna get all this information together and get the GIS system. But like she's saying, we're actually gonna own the data. We'll have our own servers and everything where we can pull all the information and actually own it in-house where they're using them as a host. So they gotta go ask them for the information. And if we ever lost it, they'd have to go and recover it. I mean, if it's ours, we could save it and our IT department, Jeff could come back and recover all of our information that way.
Yeah, so we would be kind of housing our own data for all the departments instead of having to go out and have other places host it for us. Because basically what Abraham and them, what they've done is they've had to give them a ton of information. So Sauter Miller has it housed in the cloud or however they have it, but it's web-based and accessible for Abraham for what they're doing. And what they're doing is mostly analyzing and kind of tracking how much time, you know, so they're actually using it as a analytical tool. We're going to keep it to be building it for new fire, you know, any kind of valves. And we've got tons of information. It just needs to be,
Abraham, did you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, actually we can. So can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
So what Glenda was saying is exactly right. All of our data is in a cloud system within ArcGIS that's housed within, with the gatekeeper would be SMA. But we do have all of our stuff on the ArcGIS, which is a giant program. Our base maps, right now we're about 60% done with all the alleys. When Lewis, if you figuratively, Lewis is building the tree trunk, we're kind of a branch of it. So some of the data that we have now, they call them layers. So we have the layers of the streets updated, alleys updated. That stuff can translate. As soon as Lewis starts building the tree, he can pull that in and start laying out the alleys where a lot of utilities lay for Lynch. We have all the streets, all the stuff lays for the streets department, for the engineering department. So it is a system that can build, they can work together. So we're not making no redundancies and using extra money. Where I'm not working independently, spending money when Lewis is doing the same thing. We're actually working together, we're communicating and we're talking. So this is going to be one giant cohesive unit.
And I think that's another reason why Sauter Miller's price was lower, because they already have base maps and stuff already in place. So we're not losing anything that Abraham's been using. We're going to incorporate it. And again, it's just solid waste is just going to be one of our GIS customers, because GIS, even though it'll be housed in engineering, will be open to every department. And next thing we can do audit all the parks, all the park equipment. Anything that's an asset, we can put on the GIS system.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm just, whenever Mr. Chaparro showed me that at solid waste, I can't even imagine see what you guys can use it for. So I'm actually excited about that. That's gonna be really nice, pretty nice.
Like he talks about layers, you'll be able to pull in the water system completely separate from the sewer system. You'll be able to pull in the sanitation, all their dumpster routes, where their dumpsters sit. They're all set in layers, so you can pull any layer out that you want. You see it all as a whole, or you can see it all in separate layers.
Yeah, no, that's a great system.
will you be able to say, okay, this pipe was installed in 1929?
Yes.
It's kind of, we're kind of.
What the hell are we gonna have you?
Because he's the one who has to do all this stuff. But we're calling it a living project because it's just going to be like that kind of stuff. It's just going to be ongoing, it's not, and it's not just going to be me. I'm just kind of helping us, but eventually there will have to be like a person maybe in each department to kind of be handling the data for the different departments, just depending on. So it's not just going to be, I think it's going to it'll be we call it like a living project.
It's a
Reading document.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving.
So I'm really excited about this. I think a big push that I've been excited about is we need to move to data-driven decision-making
Absolutely.
in the city. When we have good data, we make good decisions and we can plan out farther ahead. If we had every water line mapped out and we knew the age of every water line, and if we had all that information, we could create a strategy for, okay, every water line needs to be replaced every 60 years or whatever it might be. I'm just picking a number out. We would know those things. And, right now we lose data because a paper gets lost because from 60 years ago, or, people change and things get forgotten. That cost us money. If we know where lines are, we know where things are, we can identify problems quicker, we can maintain better. I was talking to a constituent the other day and saying, we do spend a lot of time and energy, maintaining our water lines. And obviously our system is, parts of it are 100 years old now, or maybe even more. So nobody really knows, but we will know. And I think that this system will more than pay for itself, not only in economic benefit, but also it'll also just make the city's response time to issues faster, and it'll help us be able to plan better going forward in the future. So I'm really excited that we're getting it. It's going to take a lot of commitment from a lot of departments to really get that data in a place where it's really usable. But I think people know the power of these kind of systems. Anybody who's used Google Maps, and dug in a little bit, you can see the power of being able to layer things on there. And if we can layer this kind of data, and again, it's not just where that thing is, but then you attach that data to it. It's like this valve is at this certain location and it was purchased at this time, and this is what it is, and this is where we bought it from. All that metadata is attached to that one, can be attached to that one piece. The same thing they're talking about with the trash cans. When was that trash can installed? What's the size? All that information can be in there as well, so we can have a lot of overlay. It's interesting to think about the applications for fire, for police,
Code enforcement,
building
permits,
and just saying, okay, we can overlay all that kind of thing. I think even also getting into getting developers to come into town. Well, if they're looking at a particular property, we can show them all the information. Man, that makes their life a lot easier. They can get a better idea and make better decisions. So I'm super thrilled and excited this is moving forward. Those are my comments. Any other comments from anybody? Councilors, anybody?
I would just like to say, I talked to a gal a couple of weeks ago who was upset because her dumpster had been moved, and Abraham was actually able to tell that it had been moved from the GPS location. So it's really cool, and I think it's going to be real handy. So.
Great. All right, I would entertain a motion.
it can't go to consent.
It can.
It can.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right, we'll send it to consent.
Okay. I move to recommend approval of award of RFQ for GIS development services to Souter Miller and Associates in the amount of $99,931.83 to consent agenda on March 10th, 2022, City Council.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 13.
113, did everybody get a copy of my letter from February 26th?
That was the first text I sent you, Margaret. Did you get one, June?
Okay,
Okay, the slide that you see before you, very similar to the slide, what you just saw, more of an aerial photo, rendition of it. But you can see where Dean Baldwin is. That's why I kind of gave you a preview. And you can see where Mathis is and where the thing, but we're tying in over there in the parking lot of Dean Baldwin, the blue line, tying into 14-inch line there. We have smaller lines coming in, but we have to reroute a 14-inch water line around the new ascent. And then we got to loop it back into the 14-inch water line over here. There's lines underneath where the building would be, and there's some buildings on the side, and some other lines on this side that we had to abandon. So we had to reroute, we're going to have to reroute the 14-inch line and the tie-ins to the new, to the existing smaller lines, and of course, two 6-inch services to the center. But that's the alignment. That's also in your packet. Page 64 of your packet, you can see all that we use the on-call utility services, and we did a request for quotes, and the request for quotes in there in the laundry list of what we asked for. Of the 5 vendors, only 3 put in a quote. J&H Services was the low quote with tax, $1,057,087.93. I'm recommending award of the quote for the 14-inch water line realignment to J&H Services in the amount of $1,057,087.93. And on behind the second page of your handout, you have the bid tabulations. And you can see how the price jumped on the 14-inch water line just in a couple of weeks. So typically what a contractor does, they'll get quotes from a vendor. And those quotes that they get from a vendor are only good for a certain amount of time and only for that project. That's why the prices jumped on this one. Kind of following along Councilor Foster's question. When White Cloud bid the first one, they got a quote from wherever they were, and then that's the price that they're gonna get honored. Same thing over here, the price jumped, but we saw, and Lorenzo's seen that too, the prices change weekly. So depending when you order the pipe or ask for a quote, that's the price of the stake that day, and then market price. But there's the 3 quotes. And again, this will have to go to full council because there is no budget on this one. And we all know what's happening with the Ascent. This is part of the $11 million transfer. We're part of this work. Stand for any questions.
Questions? It's interesting. We could have just paid for this out of the water. I mean, this is water line work. I mean, I'm glad we're doing it the way we're doing it so it gets reimbursed, but part of that money that we took out of water, we're using for water lines. So. All right, if there's no other further comments, I will entertain a motion.
okay. Sorry, I'm having to go back to the photo you sent me.
Full council.
Okay. I move to recommend award of the 14-inch water line alignment to the proposed Ascent hangar proximity to J&H Services for the amount of $1,057,087 $87.93 to the full council on March 10th, 2022.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Department reports.
Reports, next slide. You have the department reports in your packet. Any comments, questions? Public comment.
Yep, if not, public comment. I saw Rita online. Anybody else online want to comment? And then I'll come to the room.
Online.
Nobody online wants to comment. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Larry Conley, 2815 in Cantville. Out of curiosity, Louis, how long did it take you to put this together? Roughly,
The RFQ,
No.
this, we have everything listed.
I didn't do the list. I had the guys go do it streets. But what they did, they got the pavement condition report, the new ward map,
Yeah,
and just started going the list. And when we hit,
that's what will be on GIS, right?
yes,
And in the old days, how long would this have taken?
I don't know, I gave them 10 days to do it.
How long did they take?
Don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, the GIS, the other thing is the GIS, you could actually program the pavement condition report and you could pull up a street and see where you're rated. Are you a D, you a C? We have very few Ds.
I'm all for that. And then I brought this up at, I think, city council. The engineering department doesn't have enough people. And I think we have to go and talk to HR and say, God, we got to figure out a way to get more people in this department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? We are adjourned. Next meeting is March 28th. Be my last one for now. Well, you don't know.